So when I prepared this, nobody told me I'd be up on the big stage for this one. So I'm much more comfortable down, but I'll do my best to stay up here. You saw this quote earlier, hopefully. You remember it was in Adam's, his initial presentation. Okay, this is actually credited to Patrick. And what we hope it says about us is that we care about our partners. We're constantly pouring back in the profit from our company into tools, into people, into services for our partners. Problem from our viewpoint is that a lot of the partners don't use the tools or the teams or the people that we have. So the idea for this session is to just kind of generally cover what from our viewpoint it looks like to be able to optimize your agency. What tools, what services do we hope you know about that you can plug in and bolt onto your business so that you're more efficient overall. Telarus was kind of built on the mindset that speed matters in this industry, right? A lot of times you don't have the luxury to wait a week for a quote. And so there are a lot of things that you can do to be faster. And when you're fast, it gives you the competitive advantage over your competitors. So some of the things that you can do that are just kind of nut and bolt, things that you guys are probably already trying to do every day is the obvious stuff. Answer as many calls as you can. Do your best to answer every email before, the whatever make-believe time frame that is out there, usually a day, right? Maybe some things that not everybody has started to implement into their businesses is some sort of CRM. Okay, Sabiona actually has some of that built into your back office that you can use. Use a spreadsheet, find something to be able to help you do that. A lot of our partners are now starting to implement unified communications into their back office so their customers can find them wherever they are. Double-edged sword on that one, right? But if we're in the business of helping them with their communications, sometimes I call it, and the UCAS providers don't like it, but the term of eating your own dog food, right? If you're going to sell some of these providers, it's not a bad idea to be on a few of them. Some of the things that maybe you can't do just on your own, but that we hope that you know about, obviously the fiber maps, our pricing software with GeoQuote, obviously the big reveal today with the decision matrix. We think that kind of tool can help make you more efficient. And does everybody know that that's available on your phone? Right? Okay. So those types of tools are something that we're going to be rolling out. And those matrices are live and in flux on a constant basis. I'll talk about this probably a little bit tonight, but you guys will get a little bit more detail around the fact of how many providers instantly started emailing our team today saying, hey, we can do this part too. Why isn't there a checkbox? Well, that's good, right? This is live information that we're working together with our providers to make sure you've got the most live information. There's actually a provider that was not on the SD-WAN matrix by an internal team mistake, and just to kind of show how we've evolved from a technology stack, that was fixed in about 20 minutes after we knew that. That's how live we can make that tool. So your feedback on that is very helpful as well. We try to have every tool that we can, but obviously if you guys have backup plans into knowing how to get into the actual provider back offices, so you're not relying on that. Okay, does everybody know about fiber maps in this one? I don't want to belay it, but I honestly have been amazed at the number of partners that didn't know about GeoQuote that I've talked to. And GeoQuote's like 12 years old. And as a former competitor of Telarus, that was like the only thing I knew about them, right? And so to interact with some of the partners and see that they didn't know that all of that capability was just built in. And look, I know we're doing trainings on it. All of 2017's was about the tools that we have. So hopefully you know about the tools. If you don't, ask your PSM. If you don't know, and I actually was talking to Scott Forbush about his touring around this year. He's only been with us since December. And he says he's actually made a habit of making partners show him that they know how to access fiber maps on their phone, because he says it's about a 50% failure rate, that people actually know what tools are available to them. And it's so powerful to be able to sit with a customer and say, look, I don't know for sure, but let me look. And okay, these guys are here. I will take this information, Mr. Customer, and I will go get more detail for you. But man, you look so good if right there in front of them you're able to say, these 5 providers have fiber in the street on this backside. I will go get you the details. I promise you, they don't pick up the phone and call somebody else after you've had that conversation. They know they don't have to call the direct team to get that information. Okay, Moonrise. Anybody using Moonrise? Okay, a couple of head. Okay, I know Brad in here would have, if I put him on the spot, which I won't because I know the answer. The answer will be when you put more providers in Moonrise or when I have more connection, I will start to use Moonrise. My commitment to you is that is coming. Okay, that is a huge focus for us. Right now we have 6 providers in there. We've kind of been testing that out, working out the kinks, building the links with the APIs to figure all that out. Started with Comcast. We've actually hired an employee. I think Adam talked about this, where we've added an employee to focus specifically on Moonrise and making sure that data is in there and it's clean. Okay, and then the other one, they look like they're the same, but over on the right, the circuit monitoring dashboard. Okay, you've got access to VX Suite to be able to put those tools in the hands of all of your customers. Okay, being fast is great, but if you're not accurate, it doesn't matter, right? So what can you do to help be right the first time and do it right the first time? First off, hopefully some of you made it to one of our engineering sessions today. We've done several. We did one an hour or 2 ago on just how to access the engineers. There's a security one coming up. Okay, I promise you this team will change your business if you'll just engage with them. Josh I think we have it all done, a $700,000 security deal that he closed for a partner that has no idea what security is, but they had the relationship. Okay, and that is contract term. That's not per month. I should close with that. But whether it's SD-WAN, security, UCaaS, contact center, use the engineers. They actually have real certifications. Josh has gone out and he started to look at some of our competition to see, hey, what kind of certifications should we get that will make us competitive? And what he found is that none of the other masters are actually sending their engineers out for certifications. So guess what? He built that path, and he's out talking with providers, and we're building certifications with some of the providers. But then he went out, and his team went out and got AWS certs. And the security one, you'll hear a little bit about Brad, who went and got his CISSP. Not easy to say. Specialty areas. Okay, if you've been to the TICs, we're talking a lot about the specialties. Those teams have been purposefully built to be able to help you get into areas of your business and diversify away from circuits, the regular old telecom. Okay, at Carousels, that was a focus. That was how we differentiated ourselves against the big boys of Telarus and Telarus. The reason we were able to do more contact center than any other master, really, frankly, more than any of them combined, even though we had very, comparatively, much less agents, was just focus. Okay, it was about knowing what questions to ask, having our partners know how to identify an opportunity, ask the 2 questions, and then our team walks in and helps you take that to the next step. And those are big, big, sticky deals. If you've got UCaaS opportunities, anything 100 seats, I promise you there's probably 10 seats of contact center in that as well. Okay, in UCaaS, you're selling at what, $18, $18 to $20 a seat? Contact center could get up to $200 a seat, depending on what you're bolting into that. Okay, similar things are happening in mobility and IoT. Tiffany knows that business way better than I'll ever know it. If you've got an IoT question, don't ask me. Okay, Tiffany has been brought on, former Sprint employee. She's been in the mobility space for a really long time, and she's building out our portfolio of IoT providers. And those are conversations that your competition isn't having. Okay, when you go in and you have a real IoT conversation, you're in new space, and you're able to really consult with your customers. We're finding some really big deals in that. We've kind of grouped our ILECs all into one. We've got a team of CenturyLink specialists. We've been building an AT&T team. and we've started to add to our Verizon team. Folks that are former employees, have been doing that business. Look, it's ILEC business. It's tough. When the systems break down, you have to have people that know how to work around the system. Okay, and so we have teams that are doing that. And then soon but not officially announced and not officially formed is our cybersecurity specialty. A lot of that will come through the engineers, but we are going to have a department head that will help run that and make sure that you have access to all the providers that you need on that. I would say probably if I could communicate one thing about Telarus that people don't know, it's that we're doing more security than any of the other masters. And we're just not saying that out loud enough. But you will see that in the future. Okay, how many of you have used our project management team? Very, very unique to Telarus, right? There are not masters that are offering project management. Take advantage of that. We're tweaking some things with the project management team and doing some maybe more alignment with some of the specialty areas so that you've got a project manager that really knows how to manage a CenturyLink project, manage an AT&T project. Then we'll leave some generalists too, because for example, you might have a customer that's doing a Spectrum, Comcast, it's multi-carrier. So we're going to have all of that built into the process and into the team. Building an optimized agency means retaining the business. Doesn't do you any good if you're losing it as fast as it's coming in, right? So do everything that you can to be able to keep and retain that business. And we've got some tools that'll help you do that and some teams that'll help you do that. Big thing that we talk about is understanding what your customer acquisition cost is. Okay, it takes you time to make up, usually one contract cycle, depending on the type of business that you sold, you'll lose money on that if you really, really get into it. It's the retaining of business that helps you really transition to what my next presentation will be on, which is will allow you to sell your business, right, and make long-term money. When we're talking about retaining, there's not a lot of telecom, IT, technology providers that can talk about negative attrition. Okay, one of the things at Telarus that is super, super unique is our ability to white label an account management team. So if you're really, really good at sales, and that's really all you want to do, and you want to focus on that, you're not looking to get out of the business. You just don't want to take the 7 o'clock calls on a Friday night and have to go open a trouble ticket. That's why we've built this account management team, and they are absolutely experiencing negative attrition. We're not only renewing that business, we're actually going in and helping our partners sell new business. They're closing contact center deals. They're closing security deals. The number one cloud sales from our organization is coming through account management partners. So avail yourself of that team. Now, obviously, next presentation, if you're looking to get out a little bit in a few years, you can start to transition some of your accounts to the account management team. They'll take care of them for you. I've used this analogy for probably way too long when trying to explain what it is that I do to a customer. Okay, I look at myself, and very often I would say, you guys, you're the quarterback of your team. You don't necessarily know how to block. You don't know how to run a route. You're not the one that you want with the ball running through the line, but you know what route is going to be run, and you know what the play is, and you know what the blocking scheme should be, so that you guys can run your team to be able to get your customer where they want to be. So, use your team. Okay, we've purposefully structured your back office team to, even though we've gotten larger, we've built it so you still have a local feel. Okay, so starts with the RVP, the director, your partner support manager, your cable manager. Those teams have been purposefully built to be able to give you one-on-one access to employees that know your business. So make sure that you're relying on your team to be able to get you to the providers that we have. 160 and growing, I think we're probably closer to 170. Okay, we're regularly doing contracts. We've hired a full-time contracts person to be able to help us run through that. That's really hard to keep track of. So use your team that you have available to you. Okay, and then lastly, and then I'm going to open up to some questions, is a very I guess, underutilized and little known portion of what we're able to do is we will help finance your business. If you have investments that you want to make, then we will help do that with you. I wouldn't say that it's just rubber stamp. You know, we obviously want to make sure that we're not just paying for your kid to go to college. We don't necessarily want to finance Stanford. But if you're going to invest in your business, hire a salesperson, build out a process, and you've got a commission stream available to you, we absolutely want to invest in that. Okay, so our CFO, Zane Christensen, way better at numbers than I'll ever be. He's got some formulas already built out. You tell us what you want. He puts it into a calculator based on what commissions you already have coming in, and then he works out a payment plan over a period. It's a term period, right? So you can wait a year or two, I think, and then be able to do that. Okay, so I've saved us about 4 minutes. I know I went really, really fast. If there's anything that I need to go back into and answer any questions, now would be the time. Okay, what's the question? What did you say finance a salesperson? Yeah, so let's say, you know, you've reached a point in your business where you're making 10 grand a month and you're comfortable, but you want to keep going. You want to keep growing. You don't necessarily, you want others to go make money for you, but you don't necessarily have the funds to go finance another salesperson immediately. You know, you've got maybe the sales to get there eventually, but you don't want to wait the year for your residual to get there. We will absolutely fund that type of investment in your business. Those are definitely things that we would look at. And so we look at your existing base, and we can build out the payment plan on that. And the percentages that you see in terms of the interest are just based on what your current size is with us. If you're a diamond partner, obviously our risk is pretty low, because you've already got a pretty big base that's going to be able to sit across. Amanda?
How do you find out where you fall in that, especially with the merger between carrier sales?
Yeah, so your revenue has been combined in the back office. We actually did it for this event so that we knew what levels. You should be able to log into your back office and see it. If that's not the case, just reach out to your PSM, and they can find out for you. Brad?
Over time, some of these things affect costs, and sometimes they get free. What's the current status for engineering help and project management?
It's a great question. So, engineering is free, and that's not going to change. I think in the early days, engineering wasn't, but engineering has to be free or it doesn't get used. Project management, I would tell you, is usually free unless you're a partner that had negotiated a good pass-through on some carrier and there's just not the margin in it to be able to do it. I would tell you on project management, we'll usually look at it a project-by-project basis, with the idea being that we hope to be able to provide it for free. Depends on the project. Regardless of payment, if there is a charge for it, it comes out of the residuals, right? It's not a, hey, we expect you to pay us 10 grand for this project. We would build it into the deal. Account management has its own cost model. I would suggest that I think they did a session. Reach out to Nicole, because it is also based on your base size and your agent status. But essentially they build in a percentage of your existing base, and you get essentially a dedicated somebody that knows your business. But, you know, obviously based on your base size, if it's big enough, you have kind of an employee working for you that we're managing. If it's a smaller to medium-sized base, then they're probably managing 3 partners at the same time. But they look very closely at their load. We have metrics that we watch in terms of how many customers and what base size that they can manage. And Nicole's done just an incredible job managing that team. Any others? About 30 seconds left, so, you know, we can just transition. Yeah. Brad, will you scream that one for me? Yeah. Say that again, Scott. Oh, Vicky. Okay. I heard Nikki. I'm sorry. Okay, Nicole is account management. Vicky Dexter is project management. Vicky runs the project management team. Yeah. Big deals, things like that. Got it? Okay. Anything else? We're out of time. If you want to stay for my business valuation one, we can talk into how you can build your business to buy others or to sell yours at some point. Otherwise, thank you for coming. See you in 10 minutes.